Well, good afternoon and welcome to the Church360 Unite webinar on calendars and events. My name is Andrew Osborne. I'm a content specialist here at Concordia Technology Solutions. My contact information is up there on the screen. Anytime you have any questions about our software or need some assistance, feel free to email me or call me, and I'd be more than happy to assist you the best I can. A few housekeeping items before we get started today. Our presentation will be about 25 minutes with 5 minutes for questions and answers at the end. You can ask questions throughout the presentation. However, I won't be able to answer them until the end just because I would like to make sure we get to all the different things that we're hoping to hit on today. And the recording will be shared. So if there's other people in your church that would like to see this topic, or if there's things that you can't remember later on, you can always go back and re-watch it and learn those things that way. And that will be shared on our YouTube page. Here's the outline for today's training. Oh, it's out of order for some reason. So we're going to start with setup, and then we're going to get to events and talk about the group events and the master page events. Then we'll talk about the different uses of the calendar, and then finally we'll get to questions and answers. So with that being said, let's get started. So let me jump over here to my site here, and we'll go over to settings. And I'm logged in right now as an administrator. You have to be an administrator to be able to get to the settings area. So we'll click on settings, and then calendars right over here. And you'll see that we have lots of different calendars on this site. And they're all color-coded. Well, not all. Some of them we haven't changed the color on, but there's particular ones that have different colors. And those apply to the master calendar, so that when you go over to your calendar, for instance, you'll see that our altar guild meetings are in this gold. And you can see back here under settings, calendars, altar guild was the gold color here, and you can change that to any of these different colors. You can change any of them just by clicking on them like that. Oops, didn't mean to click on that. You can create and delete calendars very easily. To create a calendar, you would just type the name of it up here, name, and then hit create, and it'll pop down on the bottom of your list. You can change the color at that point. You can also delete that by hitting this red X sign here and hitting delete, and that will disappear then. You can edit any of the calendars by clicking on it. You could change the name, or you could set it to who can view it. So you can set it to no one, to users only, or to everyone who visits your site. Some calendars you would only want people in your church to be able to see, so you would set that to users. But a lot of times they'll just be for anyone to see, and then anyone who doesn't have a login to your website would be able to get on your website and see those calendars. There are a few different types of calendars, and we'll get into one of those types a little later. But to start out, there's the normal calendars, like this one. You can see that some of them have icons next to them. The ones that don't have an icon are just normal, typical calendars. But then you also see we have these locked ones. And the lock means that it's used by another program, such as Church360 members or Shepherd staff. So information from those calendars flows back to that other calendar, and that just means you can't delete that calendar or change who can view it. And then we also have these calendars here with a little group of people, and those are group calendars. We'll talk about those in a minute here, but those can only be changed by the leader of that group. Delete it here. Only the group leader can delete it. And we also have from this page an ability to sync your Google Calendar. So if you click this link down here at the bottom, you can link your personal Google Calendar with the church Google Calendar. So if your church also has events that are hosted on the Google Calendar, you can send them to your website calendar. That's a good way to integrate them. So we have two different calendars. First, we're going to talk about group calendars and events. So let's go over to, we'll do the Rally Day group page. So this is a group page. We talked about groups a few days ago if you were there for that webinar. But you'll see over here we have events under the Rally Day group. So you can click right under here and create a new event real quickly, or you can click on the Events tab and it'll pull up your group calendar. So if you want to create an event, like I said, you could either click there or you can click on any of these days and it will create one for you. So we'll create an event on this day and we'll call it a Rally Planning Meeting. And if you wanted this calendar or this event to appear on other calendars, you could click here and add it to a different one. We're not going to do that for now. For instance, if you had a calendar called Meetings, you could add that as well, so it shows that another meeting is happening at the church. You can set the location, so we'll say Fellowship Hall. You can set the start time and the end time, the start date and end date. So we'll say 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. We only want to meet for an hour. You can set this event for all day if you wanted. For instance, if you had like a youth lock-in or something that was the entire day, you could check that to make it an all-day event. You could set the event to repeat. So we'll do that. And then this area pops up here, and you can set it to repeat every single week. And we'll say on Wednesdays. And that starts tomorrow, and then we'll have it end. We'll say on the 5th. So we'll have meetings for 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and we won't have to create an event for each of those weeks. This will just create an event based on this event for each of those weeks. You can then type in a description here of what your meeting's about. And you can format it using this markdown thing here. And I'll just click on that real quick so you can see what it is. This will show you how to do inline editing. So you can edit the HTML in the line in this area. But that's pretty advanced. If you know how to do HTML, that's how you do it. But I would assume a lot of people probably don't know how to do that. So you can just type in here and it'll show up as you type it. For instance, this is my description. There we go. So you can add a description there. You can send out invitations to your members, so you could click on that. And right now we only have 2 people on this website, so I could invite them both, and that would send an email to each of them. You can send out reminders. So if you wanted to remind people a day before the event happened, and maybe an hour before the event happened, you could click on both of those and you could send out those reminders at those times. So we'll create that event, and you can see that they now appear here on our calendar. So for 3 weeks we have Rally Day meetings. If you go to the next calendar, you'll see that they end on the 5th. So after the 5th we have no more because we had them recur for 3 weeks. And now if you go to your master calendar, which mine is under News, you'll see that that group calendar, when you go over here to Calendars, let's see, should be here, there it is, Rally Day. It's green, so it's kind of hard to see. So let me go change that so we can see it a little more clearly. To change the color, you would just go back to Calendar under Settings, find Rally Day, and we'll set it to blue. That way it stands out a little more. And that saves automatically, so we can just close out of that and refresh. And there's our Rally Day meetings. You can see that the blue calendar meetings pop up there. So you can click on it to get more information about it, and you can mark that you're going to it. You can comment on it. You can see who the other people who are going to it. If you're the administrator, you can edit the event again. And you can see what other people's comments were and things like that. You can also add it to your personal calendar or invite friends from here. You could send out the link to this page. So there's lots of cool little features there. You don't have to create a calendar from a group. Let me go back to the calendar. if you wanted, if you had a group that just wanted to have their events on the calendar, but they didn't want to have a group page, you could create a calendar group just for them. And so there's several in here. Not all of these are pages, but for instance, I'll go to settings and calendars. I don't think I have this on here. Oh, I do. Let me delete this real quick. And we're going to create a nursery schedule. I think I spelled that right. Hit create. And then I'm going to change the color to, let's do yellow. And so now when you exit out, you can create an event. Say on this coming Sunday, I wanted to have the nursery schedule up. So I could say nursery available. Oop, that's not supposed to be there. You could add it to your nursery schedule. Which that should have popped up here. Oh, you know what? I wonder if I didn't set it to public. So nursery is here. It's visible to no one. That's why it didn't show up. So I'm going to set that to everyone and hit save. And now when I go out, let's see if it pops in there. I might have to go back and redo that. Calendar. Click here. Let's just look. Now nursery will appear there. So you have to make sure that your calendars are set to public so that anyone can see them, and then they'll show up in this area. This event is visible to everyone. So I'll say nursery, we'll just say open. You could set the location, so nursery. The start time, I want it to be at the service time, so we'll say 8:30 a.m. and it will end that same day at 9:30 a.m. And we'll say that repeats every single week on Sundays. And we'll say it starts this week and never ends because we're always going to have our nursery open. And you can put a description in there if you'd like. You can send out reminders. Same thing as group events. So we'll say create event. And we'll go back to our calendar. And now our nursery will appear on Sundays. So that's a good way to mark rooms as used. You can show that the nursery is the location that's being used at that time, so other people won't be able to reserve that room because you're already reserving it. So it's a good way to mark that you're using different rooms and kind of reserve those areas. That's basically everything. Let's see, was there one other thing I want to show? Oh yeah, there's one other thing. Under your calendar, you can view it as a full calendar by month, or you can go to week and view it in a slightly easier way to read it. This is very useful if you're the pastor or someone who has to access the calendar a lot and see what's going on in your church. You can pull it up on your phone and be able to view it this way as an easier to read sort of flow. So you can see what's happening this coming week. And that's pretty much the basics for calendars. You can check them on and off here if there's certain ones you don't need to see. So we'll close out some of these so you can see that it clears up quite a bit. Oops. You can already see it's starting to get pretty empty over there. So if you were only helping out with a specific ministry and you wanted to see that, for instance, if you were helping with a nursery and you just wanted to see when the nursery is open, you could check that box, and now that's the only thing that appears on the calendar. You'll see that it keeps going. So you don't always have to have all of the different calendars open. You can just set it up to be the ones that are pertinent to you and your ministry. And that's, I think, the basics of calendars. So now, if anyone has any questions, we'll open it up. If there's anything I went through that didn't make sense or I went too fast, let me know and I can go back through it. If there's anything I said that you need some clarification on, let me know. While we're waiting, I'll pull this up. If you would like to receive product updates on Church360 Unite, you can just go to our website, 360unite.com/blog, and you can subscribe there for the blog. Those updates are things like when we have new features come out and things like that. It'll show you what those new features are and how to use those features. We have a question. How do you put a calendar on a group's page? Good question. So when you create a group, we'll just do that real fast. Oops, pages. Oops, I didn't mean to hit category. I meant to hit group. We'll create this group. We'll call it new group. And then we'll pull it down over under ministries. Hit save. Too short. Oh, I think that was the last one. So now we'll go to that page. And you'll see that the events pop up there right away. So whenever you create a group, an event page or calendar is automatically created. So you can go to that and you'll be able to access that. And I think under this group, you can set the events to Unite users only, or you can set it to public or only members of this group to see it. So you can change who's able to see the events from the events page. So if you set it to everyone, and then hit update group, and if you were to create an event, we'll say new, and we don't need any of that. We'll just hit create. Oh, what did I? I forget which day I put that on. New. September 20th. Yeah. So I'll create it. And that should, oh, it's because we're in October. So now we have two September events there. And when you go back to your main calendar, which is under news, you can pull that calendar up. It should be here, new group. Oops. Oh, we're in October again. Oh no, hitting a bunch of buttons. I'm making this way more exciting than it has to be. So there they are right there. If we have any other questions, go ahead and type them in there. Again, if you would like to receive product updates, you can go to 360unite.com/blog. Subscribe for those updates. If you can't think of any questions right now, but one comes up later, go ahead and email me or give me a call, and I'll get back to you and find an answer for those questions. You can also contact our support team at any time by emailing them or calling them. They're super knowledgeable about all of our products and could answer any question you throw at them. So go ahead and contact either myself or them, and we'll get those questions answered for you if you can't think of anything right now. We'll give it another minute or two just to see if anyone thinks of something. Otherwise, I guess we could end a little early today. Again, subscribe for these blog updates if you'd like to know the new features that we're coming out with and how to use those features and how they can make your experience on Church360 Unite even better. So go to 360unite.com/blog and you'll receive blog updates from us. You'll also receive updates on these sort of trainings when we come out with them, so you can find out about those. Given one more minute or so, if anyone thinks of a question in the last minute here. Again, here's my contact information as well as our support team. Email or call us with any questions you have. We'd love to talk to you and help you get those questions figured out. Well, if we don't have any more questions, I suppose we'll end for today. So thank you so much for coming to this webinar. I hope this helped you figure out how to use events for your church a little better, and use that feature on your website to show your members when events are happening at your church and how to communicate better with them. So thank you for being here today, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.